All right, guys, and we're live. Welcome to Two Chicks Tell All. It's your girl Tay Tay here.
And Cece,
So, this episode, we're going to be talking about Valentine's Day, which is something that is coming up.
the day of lovers.
Right?
Yeah.
Or, or Galentine's Day or Singles Awareness Day, whatever you want to
I
call
know,
it.
right? This chick will be practicing the singles day.
Me too.
That's every day.
Girl, I feel that. All right. So don't forget to send us, your comments, like, comment, and subscribe. And also share your stories with us because next week we're going to actually be doing an episode on horror dating stories.
Yes.
So we would like some, personal input from our audience. So don't forget to send us an email. It's twochickstellall@gmail.com. And at the end of the episode, I'll make sure to mention it again. But, we're going to want your input for next week's episode.
Oh, yes. Sure, there's some good ones out there.
I know me and Cece got some good ones under our sleeves. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure that there's some other good ones there too.
Right.
And then after we kind of like do our thing and present our info, I can put the link up for anybody that would like to come up and hang out and talk about Valentine's Day with us. So
Share some of your, maybe date ideas that you have with your significant other, or, what you might be doing. Or if you have bad Valentine's Day story, you can share that as well.
Yeah. We're open to any type of Valentine's Day story that you have.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm just going to open up with a little bit of an origin about Valentine's Day and just kind of like where it came from and how it got started. So it originated as a Christian feast day, honoring one of two early Christian martyrs named Saint Valentine. Through later folk traditions, it has become a significant cultural, religious, and commercial celebration of romance and love in many regions of the world.
Day to celebrate.
So I thought that was interesting. So I found some other, things in regards to Valentine's Day and just like different facts about the origin. So a strange but true fact. You are looking at the skull of an ancient Roman martyr named Valentine, which resides in the Rome in the Church of Saint Maria in Cosmedin. I guess is how you pronounce that. Whether or not it's the skull of the martyr who inspired Valentine's Day is a matter of some debate, to put it mildly. But bound up in this debate is an unexpected history of one of the world's most curious holidays. So, who was Saint Valentine? So just a little bit of information about her or him. It didn't really say yet who we're dealing with.
They were not gender
So the better question is who were. Depending on who's counting, there are between 12 and 14 Saint Valentines, including a Spanish hermit and a woman, Valentina. It turns out it was a pretty common name during late antiquity. As far as anyone can tell, the Saint Valentine of Valentine's Day was one of two guys preaching the good word in Rome in the 3rd century. One of these two was martyred on February 14th, 269, thus giving us the date for this eponymous day.
Interesting. Didn't know that, yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of a little bit of background info that I was able to find about, the origin of Valentine's Day and where it came from and just kind of how it is what it is today.
Cool. Interesting stuff. All right, so I'm going to kind of dive into just some things that maybe you could do on Valentine's Day with your lover, your fella, your girl, your hubby, your wifey, all the things.
Or your girls,
girls,
if you celebrate Galentine's Day
I
instead
know,
of
right?
Valentine's Day.
Yeah. Anybody and all out there who celebrates.
Yes.
So here's some things, and a lot of this is kind of like things you would probably think of, and then some of them I thought were kind of cool. So one was visit a bookstore, and obviously some of these things are going to be things that hope you would have like in common and like you obviously if somebody didn't like hanging out with books, you wouldn't suggest going to a bookstore. But if you were both like book people, that could be a cool thing to do. And I mean,
Yeah.
I would even do something like sneak you in a little wine in your little thermos and take you some chocolates. I
Hey,
mean,
you could
hey,
make it a romantic
right, you could
experience.
really
I
make it
totally think
romantic.
so.
I mean,
Yeah.
some of those bookstores have those little cubby areas and stuff like that. You could read books to each other when you're there. I mean, make it more interesting than just a quick in and out to a bookstore. Plan to
Yes.
stay a couple hours.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Sign up for a cocktail making class, which, if you like to mix drinks and like to experiment with different drinks and stuff, that would be kind of cool to take
That
a
would be kind
class.
of fun, I feel
Yeah.
like.
And
Definitely.
obviously you would want to do it like just hire some mixology that could come over and or even to your house and do you a little class for you. And I'm sure there's probably some of those around you can find. Um, Make fondue, which, again, you gotta like the fondue to make the fondue.
Definitely.
I'm not a big fondue person. Um, Take a bike ride. So if you're into bikes and everything, and
Or if you're
maybe
the
like
athletic type.
right, yeah, and
Yeah.
and a hike for that matter. Find an interesting trail, maybe a trail that is like, not too far of a drive from your home, and you can pack your bikes up and pack your cute little picnic and some stuff to have and make it a little romantic date. And one of the things that's on here too that you could play into any one of these really things that's on this list is write each other a love letter, like do it in private, and all, and then share that love letter when you're doing maybe one of these things.
I wish that kind of was still a thing because
I
I
know,
feel like
right?
that's
Yeah.
really
Yeah, really. The
romantic.
whole
Yeah.
writing down your feelings and stuff like that's kind of a little farm, I used to have this guy and he was an artist, so I guess that helped because he would make these very creative cards all the time and would mail them to me. I mean, it would be literally, I would almost get a card a week, and he would do silly things on it. But then he also wrote really sweet messages and stuff like that. One year for Valentine's Day, as a matter of fact, he which he didn't really know that I was kind of afraid of balloons. So he
Yeah.
filled my house up with balloons and then had all these red hearts everywhere. He really did go out to kind of make things special
Right.
and put his feelings down on paper and all. Okay, write a bucket list. Make a bucket list is another one. Some things you still want to do together. And you sit there and say, I've never really sat down and made that list. Well, you could both do it together, which would be kind of cool because then you would be able to talk about the things that you wanted to do. And it might be some things that like that person really didn't know you wanted to do. And things that then you could even mark those out and probably agree maybe somewhere in common that you would like and kind of star those off and make that a habit of like working off of that bucket list every the next Valentine's Day, then mark another one off of that bucket list. You could go to a concert, obviously, if you like music and like to go and hear some music. You can maybe see if you can find a good concert to go to. You could volunteer if you like to do stuff like that, find a little organization that needed help with stuff, simple as like maybe going and planting some stuff or giving out food or helping out at a shelter or something like that. You could do that. This is one I kind of really like too. If you both like to cook, then you could have a Valentine's Day bake off.
Yeah.
And
Or cook a meal together.
right, cook a nice meal. Don't just
Yeah.
like put it on that one person. Like make it something that you could kind of do together and join in together and doing. You could go karaoke, sing some
That's
karaoke.
always fun, especially
If you
after some liquid courage.
right,
That's
yeah,
some good times.
you like to belt it out, then you could go belt out. And I think this would be something cool if you did do that, is try to only pick like sappy love songs or something
That would be fun.
that that you
That would
you
be a
might
good
not even know
time.
how to really it might not be something you would normally do, but not all, it's like when you go, you obviously always pick the songs the best and that you're thinking you're gonna kill it doing, but just go off the beat here and just pick some love songs. That would be kind of cool. Play tourist if you're again near other areas that you may have not gone to before. You could maybe take a day to go and visit some of that place and some of the shops and restaurants and stuff that are there. You could go on a scenic drive. And this is another one I thought was really, really cute. It's to recreate your favorite date.
That would be a good
That's
idea.
a really good
That is a
idea.
really cute
Like,
one.
hey, one that's like, and I think that would be something a girl definitely would be like, holy crap, I cannot believe that guy thought of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I think
definitely.
that would be a good one.
Or you could do a staycation, like
Right? Yeah.
go rent a hotel room for the night and kind of just like be together and alone. And
Right.
that's
Yeah.
kind of, yeah,
Mix it
that's
up
a
a
good
little
thing.
bit.
Yeah.
Mix it up. Movie marathon. You could say take each other and another good. Yeah, if it's on Valentine's Day, pick the one like soppy love movies that you like, and maybe watch a little movie marathon, eat some popcorn. Do you a brunch or something, and make it a whole all day type thing. And then, of course, one that is probably the most important one, which is on one of the surveys I saw. This was the one thing men wanted the most, like one out of, or the bulk was like, they would want the sexual favors. So says
Of
make
course.
love and art. But imagine if you had you some art, had you some body paint, had you some
Sounds
canvases.
risque.
There you go. That would be something that you could have forever after you created
It does
that.
sound kind of
So,
interesting.
so those were some of the ones that I kind of thought were pretty cool that I came up with or found that were like, yeah, that would be kind of cool. Definitely if one of the things I think that would make it interesting is do something again that you both haven't done that would be interesting, not say skydive or anything like that or do anything daring like that. But
That was actually on the list of things that I found is go
oh wow,
skydiving.
that's
So,
interesting. Yeah.
there's definitely some
Those would be their
interesting times out
adventurous
there.
people. Yeah.
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 I don't know if I'm quite that adventurous.
No, not me. Not me. Wouldn't want to do that.
But yeah, so did
Oh
we want
yeah,
to get
Tay Tay,
into
you can go
some
ahead and pick
statistics
up with
now?
some stats here.
All right. So the total Valentine's Day spending projected for this year is going to be $192.80 or I'm sorry, $192.80 for each person celebrating. So men will spend almost twice as much on women as average on Valentine's Day. And 9.9 billion is the amount that Americans will spend on jewelry, and 5.5 billion is what they will spend on a special evening out. So I thought that was kind of interesting in regards to Valentine's Day.
Right, yeah.
So the heart-shaped box of chocolates is still one of the most popular Valentine's Day gifts. And nearly 48% of consumers say that chocolate is one of the top gifts they present to their sweetheart.
Yep.
So flowers are also still one of the most romantic Valentine's Day gifts, according to 34% of consumers.
And one thing I'll throw in there, since Tay Tay's saying that, is something I read about. It's estimated that more than 250 million roses are produced for Valentine's Day, and
That's a
that
lot of
there's
roses.
$2.3 billion that's spent on flowers. That's a lot.
It's a lot of money to spend on flowers.
Mhm.
So, just some other little statistics that I found. 67% of men said that they would purchase Valentine's gifts for their loved ones, which that's a pretty big amount, so good on their part. 86% of millennials between the ages of 23 and 29 are the generation that will spend more on gifts, which I kind of find that surprising because
Right.
I feel like if your age is 23 to 29, you're still getting started with your life and you don't have a whole lot of money.
Right.
So I kind of find that shocking that that generation is the generation that will spend the most on gifts. So men are more likely to spend more on gifts with an average spending of $339, which I kind of found that surprising, to be honest. And women, on the other hand, have an estimated spending of $64. Kind of found that surprising because I feel like I just feel like as women, we're the ones that kind of like think of things like this.
Right.
We kind of have like that romantic bone in our body. So it kind of like, I don't know, it kind of surprised me that we're the cheaper ones whenever it comes to Valentine's Day.
Right, yeah.
So younger millennials and Generation X are the two generations that have the highest spending patterns. planning to spend between $266 and $268, respectively. And older millennials and the silent generation have the lowest numbers, with $109 and $111, respectively, which I still find that shocking. I feel like it would be the other way around.
Right.
But I guess, I don't know where these younger millennials are getting their jobs that are paying for all this stuff. I would
Right.
like to know, because I know that I don't fall into that category.
No way.
So, e-commerce was the most popular Valentine's Day choice, chosen by 41% of shoppers. So, anything email related. More specifically, 36.55% of shoppers chose Amazon for their Valentine's Day gifts.
Oh yeah, heck
which
yeah.
you can find pretty much anything on
Amazon.
Amazon.
Oh yeah, my account gets a workout.
46.97% chose brick and mortar stores and other online retailers. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Which, I feel like soon we're not going to be able to shop in stores, because I feel like everything is online nowadays.
Oh, I know, right?
So it wouldn't really surprise me if we go completely online here soon.
Mm-mm.
So men are more likely to buy gifts from Amazon and brick and mortar stores. And women seem to prefer do-it-yourself gifts compared to men.
Oh, for sure.
I definitely could see that, because we're definitely more creative out of everything.
Yup.
85% of all Valentine's Day cards are purchased by women, which that didn't really surprise me.
That is kind of a high number, though. I would
It
have thought
is.
maybe a little more dudes would have been like,
I guess
remembering
not.
to pick it up.
16.48% of shoppers made their Valentine's gifts themselves, which is that's kind of a small number. So
Right.
that kind of surprised me. And department stores were visited by 32% of consumers, discount stores by 28%, local businesses by 18%, and florists by 17%. So I just need to plug in the computer. Sorry. Listen, y'all, this is real life. I got to plug in the laptop.
There you
we
go,
still
plug
got
it in.
charge. I don't want to be like dead on the live here.
No, not at all. Well, I'll throw in some things now about because speaking of gift ideas, some of this stuff is like unique gifts, and this was one that I thought was really, really cool. It's a personalized song acrylic plaque. And it's like if you have a song that was like maybe the song that was played at your wedding, or if it was like a song that was, important when you were on a date or something, just a memorable song, then they create this plaque with the song lyrics on it. So I thought that was really kind of cool. And then another one is like a puzzle where it's like a You Complete Me puzzle. It's like a 100-piece puzzle. And it's takes like, one of your photos and puts it into the puzzle pieces. So, and that could be something that you could do together. You know what I mean? So I thought that was kind of a neat little gift. And obviously, spa gifts and things like that are popular with, both men and women, in the sense of sometimes the dude will get a gift certificate for his lady, but it is cool if you're going to do it. I mean, just go agree on it and go ahead and book yourself like a couples massage.
I was just about to say that. I feel like that would be a really cute like Valentine's Day idea.
Yeah. Do it together, All right, Tay, you plugged up?
Yes, I'm plugged up. We're still working on, working off of a laptop, so it definitely has its challenges, but we're here for it. We got it.
Yeah.
So women seem to prefer, I already read that one. Sorry, got lost for a second. All right, so the most popular options in regards to Valentine's Day gifts. So 44% of shoppers say they will purchase candy or sweets, with a box of chocolates being a must. 33% chose greeting cards, and 32% chose flowers, and 29% chose a romantic dinner. So I kind of found that surprising that more didn't choose the romantic dinner, but I guess that's how it is.
Yeah.
Red roses account for almost 70% of all flower choices in the US, and 14 and 13% select wine and gift cards as great choices for shoppers. So, now just some least popular options for Valentine's Day gifts. So, 8% buy clothing items and perfumes or cologne. I found this one surprising. 7% go for lingerie or pajamas. I would feel like Valentine's Day would be the holiday for lingerie.
Exactly,
But
right?
I'm going to be like 100% honest, and this might be a little bit dirty and it might be, the unpopular opinion. But I never understood the point of lingerie because really it just ends up on the floor
I
anyway.
know, right?
So
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
really understood the point of it, but I guess it's a good aesthetic, is what I'm guessing.
Right.
It looks nice for a second.
Yeah, there you go.
So 5% chose a romantic holiday and 4% chose cosmetics or beauty products.
Oh yeah, definitely up there.
And 1% only go for a pet.
Yeah, that's a good thing. You really, that's something I don't think you want to. Well, it just depends. I mean, if your wife's been sitting there saying, "I've been wanting this dog so and so for so long," and Valentine's rolls around, yeah, maybe get her the dog. But you don't want to pop a dog or a pet or something like that onto somebody. Maybe you're just like dating as a Valentine's gift. Oh, here you go. Here's this dog you got to care for and spend spend the money to take care of and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, a couple other ones that I kind of came across that I thought were pretty unique was this one. It says it's a funny marriage guide, and what it is it's like a book that they create for you. It's like a comedic book where it looks at life after you get married. So it has funny scenarios and innuendos and pop culture references and stuff like that. And then on the back of the book, there's space for friends and family to offer their best marriage advice for the couple. It'd be something, that you could either have in the sense of if you were married or weren't married. I think it could be catered to either scenario.
Right.
And then this one I thought was really cute too. It's a little superhero gift. And if you're like, have somebody that's like a big Marvel fan or, in the character kind of big type fan person, then it's this little trinket that's like comes in a pint-sized container with this little tiny superhero, and then there's a message that comes in, and you have options of selecting one that says, "I super love you," and "You're my superhero." And then there's 6 different ones that you can choose from: Captain America, the Hulk, Spider-Man, Iron Man, Superman, and Batman. So I thought that was kind of a really unique little gift to do for somebody that
I think that is a cute idea.
into that type thing.
Yeah.
And then another one that I thought was pretty cute was this, like, if you're into the brewing and into the beers and stuff, like really seriously, and I'm talking, you probably would have to be really serious with this. And it's more like something somebody would get a laugh out of, but it's the shower beer can holder and Bluetooth speaker, and it has
I don't know, that sounds kind of cool.
It has a built-in suction cup that adheres to the shower wall and allowing you to taste your beer while you shower or indulge in a bubble bath, and it connects to your Bluetooth device so you can play your favorite tunes. Now, I thought that was kind of very creative.
That is creative.
Somebody who really likes their beer skis and stuff,
You could also probably put like a glass of wine in there or something. If
right,
you had like
a
skinny glass or something.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so a bunch of other kind of silly things. Jewelry is another thing. This was something like it's a bracelet that got the universal symbol on it of
like
love
the
and
infinity.
the heart. Right. It's this adjustable bracelet that's got the heart, and then it's a subtle way that makes it adjustable for kind of anybody to wear. So, if you went into the jewelry line, and then you could always do personalized jewelry and stuff like that. So, I think that's, like I said, that's covered some of the ones that I kind of thought were kind of creative in the sense that, again, Tay Tay was talking about the standard stuff, obviously, is the candy and the flowers and all. And what's so funny
or like
is
a weekend getaway.
Oh, yeah. Weekend getaway, the massage, just a perfume, cologne, all that kind of standard stuff. But I actually I think I might have mentioned this before, the opportunity to volunteer at a flower shop on Valentine's Day. And I'm telling you what, that was like some crazy stuff. I mean, like people coming in and the amount of money. And it did, when Tate was talking about the age thing, there were a lot of young people coming in there and these kids forking out all this money. And I'm talking when that time of year rolls around, they jack those prices up to like $80 for a dozen roses that you normally would pay maybe 30,
Well, I know now at florists, like the going rate is about $80 for like a set of roses.
Right, yeah.
From what I heard due to inflation.
And then you factor in if they would want to have them delivered, usually they're tacking on like a $10 or $15 fee. But I tell you who has good roses, and I'm not, some people still not Walmart, but Walmart does sell a dozen. I was in there today, and I want to say I think they were $14.99 for a dozen. So that's really not bad, because I think on an average, their daily prices on a dozen is around $10. And they even had them as cheap, because I did this for Mother's Day last year, where I bought a bunch and just kind of went handing them out to moms, and they were $9.99 a dozen.
That's
so
not
that
bad.
was like really a good price. So
yeah, and local grocery stores always seem to have like a good selection too at a reasonable price.
right, yeah.
So just whatever local grocery store you might have.
Yeah. Oh, another really good idea, if you wanted to do something but you really don't want to go out, just kind of set up, but then still kind of have spa type experiences, is you could set up like a little pedicure station and a little, like maybe set the beds up where you could lay on it and do massages, and you could just each do it to each other, and make that into a little fun day.
I was watching Step by Step actually earlier because they had the whole series on Roku. So I was starting to binge it again just because I wanted to revisit it after our little episode last week.
Right.
I decided that I wanted to go revisit it. So I thought it was cool. Carol Foster like has her little like hairdressing salon like right off of the house. Well, Frank actually, for their like month anniversary of getting married, put together like a table and chairs and kind of like a little Jamaican scene, and I thought that was cute.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so like, even just work with what you have. Like if you have some like,
right,
if you have like a cute little table and chairs and some ambiance and just like light a candle or something, like, make the best out of what you have too, and that'll work.
And seriously, you go to the Dollar Tree and buy those little tea light candles and get a bunch of those and just set up a really nice little, candlelight little surrounding, so it's
I feel like as women, it's kind of more of like, it's the thought that counts as opposed to like, opposed to like how much money you spend. Like I would, like I would rather, for instance, have a guy that just goes out to Dollar Tree and gets some candles and makes a cute little scene, as opposed to like taking me out for an expensive dinner.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Turn on the romance.
Yes.
Instead of just the most common thing. That's one thing, like you said, us women want. Make it a little different.
Yeah.
So, well, we hope you got some, maybe some ideas for some things that you wanted to do and didn't think about, and found out some interesting facts about what we all spend, what's spent on Valentine's, what's spent on flowers and all. And again, email us your horror dating stories that we're going to cover for our topic next week. We really do want to hear those. And again, you can just say in there, don't mention my name, and make it anonymous. And we would definitely keep it on the down low and not.
Yeah, because we know that there's a lot of people that like to keep their their personal stuff anonymous. They might have a story they want to share, but they don't necessarily want to be broadcasted like that.
No, not at all.
So I'm going to go ahead and post the link. If there's anybody out there that's listening right now, you can come on up and just kind of tell us what your thoughts on Valentine's Day are. So we can go ahead and give that a couple of minutes to see if anybody decides to come up. Don't be afraid to comment. We love hearing from you guys.
I'm trying to think of maybe what the most interesting Valentine's date I had, or what one of my fellows would have done for me. And honestly, off the top of my head, I just can't even think about anything. I mean, we would always, because I think that's the thing, it was always like a typical Like, oh, we go to dinner, like I said, the balloon thing with that one guy was really sweet and different. And that was something that, he took a lot of time out. It wasn't like he just bought something and said, here you go.
And it says that there's one person in here, so just go ahead and say hi. We would love to hear from you. In regards to like Valentine's Day dates, I feel like in my personal experience, it's been like a lot of just the same thing. Cause I know like last year around this time, I was in a relationship and basically all we did is he got me some flowers and chocolates and then I cooked some steaks, which, that was good. But that's kind of like the cliche, I feel like, whenever it comes to that kind of stuff. So yeah.
I do have a funny story though.
Okay, go ahead.
This is a funny story because it relates to Valentine's Day.
Go for
So
it.
I was dating this guy and I had this romantic trip planned to go to Charleston. And I'm talking like I had everything packed up. Like I had the chocolate covered strawberries, I had champagne, I had all this
chocolate covered strawberries,
fruit and stuff, just all this stuff, cheese and cracker. I mean, I had the spread stuff, had the lingerie, had the candles, had it all packed up, ready to go. So I get off work on a Friday, go to his apartment. Well, he lived in like a little garage apartment. So I'm waiting for him, and he's like not showing up. And I was like,
don't tell me he stood you up after you did all that.
No, it gets better.
All right, good.
So I was like, surely, something has happened or whatever. I kept trying to call him, wasn't getting an answer and everything. So then I started calling some of his friends, and they were like, no, we hadn't heard from him. He was talking about how excited he was about y'all's trip, blah, 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 blah. So we do this happy hour thing when I was living in Columbia, where we would do a bunch of us girls would get together like every Friday. So all the gals and my aunts, one in the group, were over at my aunt's for that happy hour. And so I called my aunt, and I was like, something's going on because he hasn't called. I can't get him. It's been hours now, like 2 hours or so. And I was like, and I've called his friends. And so she was like, well, just calm down, just hang out and wait, maybe he'll call, blah, blah, blah. So another bit of time flies by and everything. Well, one of the girls in the group, she knew like a lot of people, I guess you could say. And I don't know what made them think of this, but it wasn't too much longer. And I get a call back from them. And my aunt goes, well, we found him. And I said, what do you mean you found him? And she said, he's in jail. And I was like, what?
That's what I would have said
and
too.
She said, yep, he is in jail at the Alvin Glen, da-da-da. And so I was freaking out. So I'm like,
too.
I said, well, what the heck? So I said, well, I'm just going to go. She wanted me to come there. I said, no, I'm going to go home because the first phone call he better be making, better be to me. And if I was just afraid if he called the house phone, or whatever, because back then that was
house phones
back then,
like landlines were more of a thing.
You still called on the house line. So I was like, it better be to me. So sure enough, I get home and it wasn't too much longer and the phone rings and I answered it and it was him. And he was like his voice was so like, he was like, hey, it's me. And I was like, hey. And he said, I'm in jail. Just like that. And I said, I know. And he's like, how do you know I'm in jail? So I was like, dude, you can't really get anything past me in this system. I was like, right? Too many of my friends know too many people. And so, so guess what? Our trip to Charleston didn't happen that weekend. And I was pretty pissed because it ended up being, I'm not going to go into details. It wasn't drug related. Let's just say that. But it was stupid. It was something stupid. It was just basically him not being a responsible person and driving around like with a license and with insurance basically. And, just stupid stuff, stuff that like we do all the time. Not, but unfortunately he was kind of a little rebel. Well, he was just very irresponsible. and it took
Right.
him a long, and so yeah, it was a little challenging after that. Like I obviously was driving around everywhere, like and being the chauffeur driving Miss Daisy. But always where we went, and it took him, and then he had to really work to get his license back and everything. So it was really kind of an ordeal. I thought, oh God, this is crazy. But yeah, that was I guess my most horrific Valentine's Day date disasters, I guess you could say, because it just didn't happen. Then I was so mad after that. I was kind of like, dude, just give
I
me a
don't
day or
have any of
two.
those. Like I'm kind of shocked that I don't have any like horrifying Valentine's Day stories.
Yeah, that was mine. That was my contribution there.
I mean, I know this year I'm single, so it's going to be Singles Awareness Day for me, but
Right. Well,
But hey, that's
hey,
good.
Tay, we'll go eat tacos.
Okay, sounds good. I mean, it'll kind of be like Miley Cyrus. I can buy myself flowers.
I know, right? Yeah, exactly. I
Talk
know.
to myself.
Shoot, I should have bought me a dozen of those roses today. What was I thinking? Buy them for myself.
We can't really play music on StreamYard because we'll get copyrighted, but we can sing it.
I
There ain't
know, right?
nothing wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Love. No, I'm just kidding.
like I just think it's so funny. So in my generation, we had like Carrie Underwood, like before he cheats, like
Oh,
slashing
right.
things
Yeah.
and whatnot. This generation, they have I can buy myself flowers. I'm just like we are not cut the same. I hate to tell you.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh, how fun.
I know it is. Well, I guess we do not have anybody that wants to come up on panel, but still, if you're watching the replay, don't forget to comment, leave, your favorite Valentine's Day ideas or a cute little Valentine's Day story. We would love to hear it.
And then your dating horror stories for our next
Yes.
week's episode.
So, don't be afraid to send us an email with your dating horror story. Our email account is twochickstellall@gmail.com. Chicks is CHICS. Not like the baby chicks, but like, just like chicks. Like girls. Except it's like chicks. So don't forget to send us an email with like a dating horror story, and like, Cece said, you don't have to share your name. You can keep it anonymous, or if you have a code name you want to use or something like that.
Right, yeah.
Go for it.
We're all about code names.
But yeah, so I think we're going to wrap it up for the evening. So that was kind of fun, just reminiscing about Valentine's Day.
Right.
And randomly singing.
Yeah, I'll say kudos to all you lovers out there then. I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day.
Yes, kudos to all those people that are doing the right thing and keeping love alive.
That's right.
All right, so Two Chicks Tell All signing off. It's your girl Tay Tay.
And Cece.
And we will, talk to you next week as we explore dating horror stories.
Peace out.
Peace out.